it is.
Cool. Little dudes are cool.
Well,
We're
guys,
live.
we're live.
Live. Have you watched Tiger King yet?
Oh, yeah. me and Amanda were just saying, we literally finished it like 2 nights ago, and just tonight we were like, you know what, we probably need to watch that again.
Without spoiling it for anybody that hasn't watched it, how fucked up was that shit?
There is no way to spoil it. Like, if we could,
because there's so many things.
We could sit here and tell the entire story, and then if they watched it, they'd be like,
yeah. There's so many
I've
things.
never been turned on in so many different ways that were confused. that were confusing. No, dude, the show it's fucking crazy.
You know what I was driving around thinking about tonight? It just randomly popped in my head. I was like, just thinking about the show and everything, and I was like, trying to remember the whole thing. I was like, that's something. I think you got to watch that at least twice. There's so much, and I was like, it popped in my head. I was like, do you remember the fucking explosion?
Yeah, the TV station.
The fucking explosion.
Yeah.
Of all this crazy shit that happened, that one just kind of fucking slides right by you. It's like, oh, the TV studio blew up. Anyway, on to the next Carol Baskins video.
And me and her, dude. Well, first off, the guy's song where he's singing and he's holding tiger shit in his hand. That part, did you see that they were like showing the shooting of it, and he's like, hurry up, this shit really stinks. You know, it's like, how long do you, it's like, take 700, come on, let's get this shit. I'm holding this shit for an hour and a half in my hand. Yeah, the guy, I'm pretty sure he's my spirit animal. I'm pretty positive. The whole time through it, I was like, how many fucking leather tassel jackets does this asshole have? And then there's a part in it where you see like his closet. It's just
full
jackets. Yeah. It's like when you see Ernest's closet and it's just all the same outfit.
Yes.
It just has.
Or Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah. I told Amanda, I said, those are all probably made out of tiger leather.
Oh, you know it.
Yeah.
You know they're the ones he shot in the face.
Yeah.
You know he took their hides.
Yeah, dude, yeah, and just fucking making tassel. He's probably got some sort of weird tassel jacket sweatshop on his. Yeah, the fucking documentary is unbelievable.
The thing that really got me, going more than anything, was how each one of those people acts like they're the normal one, and all the other tiger people are fucked up.
Yeah, well, the one guy that
slowly
on an elephant. What's that guy's name? Doc.
Yeah, Doc. Whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, once it gets to him, you're like, oh, this is the normal one. This guy's normal. And then it shows you his life, and you're like, none of them.
He's got like 8 wives that he like brought there when they were 12 and kept them until they were legal age to bang.
The chick that was clearly a Karen, that was clearly a let me speak to your manager girl, when she's like indignantly talking about, and he made me get fake tits.
Yeah.
Sure, honey. He made you get fake tits.
Yeah.
He paid for them. That's beside the point.
Yeah. Didn't hold you down, you know.
Another one of my favorite parts was when Carol's like, they only pay them $100 a week to work at their parks, and then it shows her volunteer program where she don't pay anybody.
None of them get paid at all. Yeah,
she don't pay anybody.
The other guy pays $150 a week, so you're like, oh.
The head groundkeeper's like, I saw an ad on Craigslist, and I was like, I ain't never done that before.
That chick gets her fucking arm ripped off, and she's just like, you know,
I better go back to work.
It happens, you know. Yeah.
Shit happens. I better go back to work.
That particular thing can only happen one more time, because then you got no arms, you know. Yeah, that documentary. It was like one of those things that we were like, yeah, we'll watch it. And then it's like 6 o'clock in the morning and we're like, what in the fuck?
Oh, it's so good. When I first started it, I thought it was only 3 or 4 episodes. And then I finished the 4th episode and was like, we haven't even resolved half of this shit. And then I looked and I was like, oh, fuck, it's 7 episodes. Oh, my God, I get 7 hours of this shit. And honestly, that could have been a 10-hour documentary easily.
Oh yeah, I'd watch 10 more episodes like tomorrow.
All right, now here's the real question. Correct me if I'm wrong. Who do you remember the name of the jack off that owns the park now? That the dude that wears hats like me, looks like an idiot.
Well, he wears hats like you, but then a bandana underneath him.
Underneath it, yeah.
Yeah,
really overcompensating. I mean, I'm bald. I'm covering up for the fact that I don't have any hair, but he's really overcompensating.
Yeah. Plus, that guy's like Jeff Lynch is what is
yeah.
what I'm into.
Okay, so Jeff owns the park,
and
Jeff moved to Vegas, and Jeff was in the middle of building a new park with another jackoff that has a monkey on his back. But that guy quit, and they didn't finish.
Well, he keeps his monkey on his front.
He keeps his monkey. They say you can't work with a monkey on your back, so I put it on my front.
Yeah.
so he quit, and he didn't finish the park. So all those cats, they're still in Oklahoma, right?
I would assume
they're still on Joe's.
Yeah, he had like 287 fucking tigers or something.
So, not to be weird, but I literally just read an article today about this. The park, Joe's original park, still exists in Oklahoma, and all of his cats are still there. Those people, they say they're still trying to build another park that's supposed to be open fall 2020. But as of right now, they have all the animals at his old park, and people are still coming there. They've just taken, you know how like Joe had himself plastered everywhere?
Mm-hmm.
They've taken all of that down, and they're like touting that the animals are treated so much better now, and they actually have money to feed them, and yada, 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 their stuff. But then people investigated since Joe's been gone, said that because of like, everything that happened there, they don't really have any, like, what's the word of customers. They don't really have any customers at all. So they actually can't pay to feed the animals like you're saying, and the animals are in just as bad as condition as they were when Joe was there. So
that's where I'm going with this. If they are eating expired Walmart meat, there's no expired Walmart meat right now. What are these cats eating right now, today, in the middle of coronavirus apocalypse?
Well, I mean,
there's no expired Walmart.
There was a lot of like amputees in that documentary, so maybe it's like, all right, Daryl, it's your time to give up a shin or a leg or an arm. Which one you want to give up? It's like everybody, you look around, everybody's missing a body part.
The best thing I saw though was that one guy with the really jacked up teeth got him fixed.
In between all those people, there was enough teeth for one mouth. Pretty much.
There was enough teeth for one mouth.
Yeah. And did you notice that the one guy, it's like, why can't that tattooed up dude that was his boyfriend have a shirt on ever? Ever. He like, it's like he's Matthew fucking McConaughey. It's just shirtless all the time.
I don't really date dudes.
They keep talking about how he's muscle bound.
Yeah.
It's like, that guy, he's just he's like a normal chubby guy. They act like he's fucking Batista, you know? Right. It was like, no, as soon as we started watching that, I was like, you know what? I didn't know this was going on in Granite City.
I hated girls in high school. I don't really like dudes.
You know, all of Joe's boyfriends are straight. He's like, you got to be quite the con man to fuck a guy that isn't gay. That's just like,
Like that one thing.
I don't even remember the name of that documentary. Oh, dude, there's a documentary. I don't remember the name of it, but it's about a dude that's like molesting these little girls, and then he winds up fucking their mom, and then the dad.
Oh yeah, what is that called? In Plain Sight or something like that?
He tricks the dad into giving him a hand job. Even it's like, what's going on?
Kidnaps her for like 3 months, and then brings her home, and he's like, "Oh, you guys need to drop those federal charges of kidnapping against me. We were fine. I was just hanging out in the woods with her," and the parents were like, "Sounds legit."
And then the mom starts having an affair with him, and then even the dad jerks him off in the car.
Yeah.
One time, you're just like,
you know what it reminded me of was Rocky Horror Picture Show, how Dr. Frankenfurter fucks everybody.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I feel like that's what it is. Really, it's like anything that wiggles, you know.
I forgot to plug my other camera in. I don't know if it will let me do it while we're live. I think I tried this one time and it wouldn't recognize it.
I don't have my other camera set up in here yet either because I'm in a different area to be in. But look, dude, I got this done today.
Yeah, you were telling me about that. Let's talk about it.
All the thumbnails.
Whoops. I pulled you out of the. I'm trying to make you the. Here.
For my next issue is like a shit. This is like at least double the amount of thumbnails that my last issue had, and my last issue was 32 pages. So I got all those finally done, and that I absolutely loathe thumbnailing. I don't know about you, but it to me is like pulling teeth. But then once I get it done, then it's like gets to be a lot faster. And then I already got 30 pages pretty much penciled of this next issue.
His hand. That part. Did you?
Sorry, I'm trying to load up the comments.
Oh, right on. So yeah, 30 pages penciled, but
Yeah.
then I told you that I like got to a point, and then I wound up doing a rewrite of the end of it. So then I had to stop penciling and go back and thumbnail the whole, like the rest. I rewrit the end. It was quite a bit longer. So then I had to go back and thumbnail all that, and then now I'm back to where I can just get back to penciling. So now I'll move a lot faster because thumbnailing is hard. It's like the most challenging part for me to get through is the thumbnailing.
Why do you think it bothers you so much?
Because it's unsatisfying to me. It's like, it's like I like to finish things, and thumbnails never seem finished. It's like I'm doing a million sketches and never finishing a drawing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but it's like such a pivotal part. You have to do it, man. You know.
The reason I like doing them is like a shot like this. It really lets me like do the layout. Like I know exactly what that page is going to look like.
Yeah.
And it took me 3 minutes to sketch that out.
Yeah,
but
it's pivotal. You have to do it. It's like something that I don't know why. I just can't ever get excited about it. But then when it's done, I guess I'm excited about it. Maybe that's why, because it takes, there's so many of them, and then you got to get them all the way done before it feels like you completed that step. But then it's like, then you just go back and do them all again, more detailed,
Yeah, I just don't want to spend because these 11 by 17 pages, like I don't want the first time I'm trying to lay this page out to be on something this fucking big. It'll take me forever.
Yeah,
I erase it and erase it, and I still do. Even when I have the thumbnail to look at. Here's the thumbnail here. Let me make me big. Let me make me big real quick, and I'll show you the comparison. So that's the pencil page, and then that's the thumbnail. This takes me 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I have this cheat sheet to look off of, this still takes me at least 10 minutes to find that, because they're not exactly the same size. 3 by 5 and 11 by 17 aren't exactly the same.
No.
It's not like it blows up to exactly the same. So I still have to find where all this stuff sits on the full page. But this
so it fits into the template the right way.
This is a cool page, though. They're talking about the backstory of the Cockhammer family. Every generation, there's a Cockhammer, and every generation they try to transcend to a demonic demigod, and every generation they fail. And it's the soul of Cockhammer goes to the next generation and the next generation. This is them talking. This is Wolfram and Terrence and Perrin are talking about it. Then the rest of the page is all flashback. So this is showing the human form of the Cockhammers, 4 generations, and then this is showing them all demoned out, just completely fucked up, having failed their transcendence.
You can tell that their horns are busting frame and stuff. Yeah.
And this down here is the ritual. So all these little circles are the heads of the cultists of Cockhammer's cult, and they're carrying one of the Cockhammer's dead bodies to the crypt, which is back here.
Back there, yeah.
It's pretty cool.
I like the crooked panels too.
Yeah, I'm trying to, I'm just trying to do stuff different this time.
Yeah, I have a couple pages in my first issue that have crooked panels like that. This next book has a lot more going on than that first one did. It's going to be a lot of fun. But I don't know. Like I said, there's my first page layout. Everything except for like words,
Hell yeah.
Page 1, and then Like I said, I got 30 of them done. Going crazy. A couple more.
Yeah.
Pretty much, I think this story here about a Cyclops Yeti that's in. He's in a predicament where he needs help, and Junior and Riggs figure that they're the right people to help him out, and they go on a quest pretty much to help him. So,
Mr. Frank,
Yo, what's up?
you exist as a person.
I'm here. I heard dicks were being drawn, so where dicks are being drawn, Mr. Frank will follow.
I don't think I've ever seen your face talk before.
You probably haven't. No, I got a face for podcasting.
When we all, I yell at him about this all the time. When we all get on Jeremy's show, and it's all just a bunch of avatars talking to each other. That is so boring to me. But I'm not going to be the only guy on stream. I'm not going to be the only human face. Well,
you don't want to be one guy talking to a bunch of just pictures.
Yeah, we're talking to a bunch of pictures. So I turned mine off too. Frank, obviously, you do the same thing when you go on.
Yeah. I try to keep the spirit of the show.
I guess that's I'm like, buy a webcam. They're $20. He's like, I don't even have a webcam. I'm like, they're $20 at Walmart, bro.
What do you have? I'm just working off of my laptop.
That's what I'm working. Yeah, well, I have two. I have like a document cam I'm about to switch to draw dicks. Let's see if we can put it in the shot here.
I got a little overhead guy or something.
Yeah, it's like it's built onto a mic stand.
You can tell it's literally so fancy with all the tape. You can tell.
Yeah, it's taped. This is how much I spent on mine, and it's an HD webcam here. So it's taped onto a fucking mic stand. But
rock and roll, man. Whatever it takes. I mean, producers probably do that shit too.
Yeah.
Whatever you need to do to make it work. You know about that.
Frank, this is Brad. Brad, this is Frank.
Snake house.
Snake house.
I know Frank's an old school buddy of mine from the fiction days, from the fiction writing, the books. He does a podcast. There's a podcast called Bizzong where he interviews authors of weird and wacky fiction. And he's way more prepared for this than we are. You got a weird jack off puppet behind you. I've got a.
How do you know what I do with that puppet?
I got my stove behind me. I know what to do with the puppet because I
made you one and you do the same thing with it.
Yeah. I was actually thinking when I saw the puppet behind you, I was thinking I should go get my puppet, put it on the stove behind me.
Right. Yeah.
You got the Strange House mask. That thing's cool as hell.
I do. Yeah, that's sitting in the other room.
Oh,
what's up, buddy?
I wish it were me, but there's no weed here.
I get to see your face too, bro. You're never on camera either. This is a treat.
Yeah.
This is a treat. All of our cameras just went widescreen.
All the handsomest people got together for one show right here.
Let me walk everybody through this. Our cameras all just went widescreen. Brad's got like an art cave behind him with puppets and weird shit, all kinds of art stuff.
That's my wife's desk.
Frank's got his Bizzong corner all set up. Skinny, you've got a bunch of cool art on your walls. You are looking at my spice rack and my fucking microwave behind me.
Those are the most important items.
By spice rack, you mean salt and pepper on the back?
Salt and pepper that are literally sitting on top of my microwave. Is that bad? Should I not have that stuff sitting there?
No, you know what? I am actually right where I call this the Harry Potter room because I am literally sitting under the fucking stairs right now into the basement. It's a tiny little office space built on the steps.
Naked baby cherub there by you. It's good to have baby cherubs by you all the time.
Yeah, he's giving the finger. I got this from the village in New York City.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. He's got devil horns.
And devil horns. Yeah, that's my little cherub.
Is this Bizzong Studios? Are we seeing? This is
where Bizzong happens lately. Yeah, I've had several, but I've been relegated to under the steps now and do Bizzong. It's the nice, quietest little nook I can do it.
I draw dicks in my kitchen now. I had an office for a couple of years, but I moved into this new place and was like, why am I paying for two spaces? I can just draw in my fucking kitchen. Skinny,
Yeah,
what do you say, buddy?
Hmm?
What do you say? How's it
What
going?
The kitchen's the best place to draw dicks, man.
That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna find a nice big dick to show you guys. How's quarantine treating you, Skinny?
Oh, I'm not allowed to go on quarantine because I work in one of these places that is an exception. But it's
Same.
going terrible because
He's an essential.
yeah, we're essential. So I need to deal with all the retards who think they're on vacation right now.
I'm saying, brother, nobody's taking this seriously.
No, they're not. I wish they would. If they did, then this shit would blow over.
I've been on quarantine for like 3 years before this happened. So.
As an introvert, I can say I was born for this, and I'm disappointed I don't have the opportunity to actually flex and stay home.
To show your skills. Kevin is the master of drawing dicks that are wider than the character's hips.
Look how skinny his hips are.
Yeah.
So, and then this is the meat portal. This is Wolfram coming out of the stomach. Here's a better shot of it down here.
Now, when you draw that dude with the skinny hips and the large member, does he get a significant bulge or what's up when you draw him clothed?
Oh, when you draw him, it's like it just kind of disappears when you draw him clothed.
Oh, okay. he's a grower, not a shower.
Yeah, they all have gigantic dongs when they come out, but when they put them away, it's like there's nothing even there.
They're all like they're innies, and then
he's a frightened snail.
Oh, I was inspired by. Have you guys seen the Lock and Key show on Netflix? Any of you guys seen that?
No.
Nobody watched that. It's not going to get a second season. Nobody watched it. So Joe Hill, Stephen King's son, he and this artist named Gabriel Rodriguez, they did a comic book series called Lock and Key. It's about this family that this kid breaks into their house and murders their dad, and they move back to their dad's family mansion in, I think, Massachusetts. And this mansion has a bunch of magic keys in it. It's called Lock and Key. They're the Lock family, L-O-C-K-E. They're the Lock family, and they all have magic keys. And so it's this really cool comic book series. It's actually horror. It's a horror comic book, and it's like horror fantasy. So it's like urban fantasy, really gritty horror, extremely violent, extremely dark. But this Gabriel Rodriguez cat that draws it, he used to do architecture. That was his gig, and then he switched to comic books. And he has this, I'm going to actually go grab one. He's got this fucked up style where he draws cartoony characters and extremely detailed architecture for his backgrounds. It doesn't fit together at all, but it looks so cool. It's like such a unique style. I'm going to grab one real quick.
he just really has to take a dump, so he's coming up with it.
Yeah, that's where I keep all my graphic novels in the show. Right?
All right, let me show you guys this, because this art style inspired this new comic book I'm working on. So let me show you guys some art from Lock and Key. Trying to find something cool.
Those pages aren't stuck together, are they?
All right. So what he does is he draws very few panels. So most of his pages have 3 to 4 panels max, and he draws these huge drawings. This is a fucking splash page.
Wow.
Just, can't really tell what's going on there, but there's a shadow monster coming out from under these stairs and grabbing up all the characters. Now, let me show you what the characters kind of look like. They have this really weird style to them, pretty cartoony looking. And like I said, there's only 3 panels on this page. And so comic book art can be done like a bunch of different ways. some people draw like famously the Watchmen comic book, Alan Moore's Watchmen, had about 12 panels per page, which is like the most panels that have ever been in like
way more than most people would try to do.
Yeah. So I really like this Gabriel Rodriguez style with a lot less panels. So most of my panels for this book, they're 4 or less. A lot of times they're 3. A lot of times they're 2. This is a 3. This is a 3-panel one.
That's how my first issue of Life with Riggs is.
Just these huge pictures, which forced me to do a lot of backgrounds. And I haven't done, I barely did. I mean, you guys all have seen the Dead Shit comic book. I was not confident about my backgrounds in that series. So this one, I really wanted to challenge myself.
Like 2 or 3 big panels is how most of my first book is. Yeah. And I think my second book will probably be pretty similar to that. But this one here too, like you just said, I didn't have a lot of background confidence. And I honestly, the last 9 pages of this book is when I really started to kind of get comfortable and kind of start. And like,
yeah, I love really, that. What is that thing called? The lump gore?
The lump gore, yeah. So I'll show you. Yeah. Here he is, this big 3-eyed. He is zapping them, but he's got his 3-eyed and he shoots this big energy ray out of his 3rd eye. He's the king of this planet called Gardonia 5 that's inhabited by all these drunken piss rainbow garden gnomes. And that's like their leader, pretty much, is the lump gore. I couldn't imagine doing 12 panels a page like that.
Mr. Frank, are you on quarantine? What's your deal? What do you got going on right now?
No, man, I'm fucking essential, baby. I'm still getting out there every day to work. I don't know if that's a curse or blessing. I think it's a blessing because the wife and kids they're all home quarantined, and when I get home at night, they want to strangle each other, and you know, just going through the weekend, it's like, yeah, I can't wait to get back to work. So I guess all in all, it's good that I get to get out, you know, but it's just between work and home, you know. I'm trying to stay out of even the convenience stores, you know, just keep my distance all in all.
Driving me crazy how many people I see out there, because I'm also a guy, an essential. I deliver food at night, so I'm, you know, they're just kicking my ass. I mean, I am busier now than around Christmas time right now. I mean, they just want fuck cooking. They're gonna get hamburgers delivered to them. They're gonna get tacos delivered to them.
Well, there ain't no hamburger in the store, so
that's true. That's true. That's what I'm saying.
Are they paying you in toilet paper?
I wish. I actually have. Okay, I have 9 rolls of toilet paper, and I live by myself. Do you think that that's plenty, or should I be worried?
Dude, you can use your hands. Don't worry.
You're good. I've had like a 12-pack amongst 4 people, and we're still nursing. We still have like at least half of that 12-pack to go. And I don't know. It seems like, and I don't know this for sure, like when I wander to the store, by the time I get there, the shelves are wiped out. But it seems like if you get there right when the supermarkets and stuff open, you could probably grab yourself a 4, 8, 12-pack, something like that. You know, just got to beat up the old ladies getting there.
And apparently it's okay to stab people for them. Like if you had to, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I always got my hand or whatnot. Like I just thought, you know, it's no big deal. If we got soap, then who needs toilet paper?
Or a spray thing, you know. Like, I think toilet paper is a luxury. Like it's nice to have, but you're not going to die without it, you know.
No, of course not. No, yeah.
As Andy Dufresne once said, "Shit washes off."
Right, yeah. I have kids, so shit, you know, there's shit everywhere. Kids, you know, you're like, is that shit in your hair? It's definitely shit in your hair, okay? Like, so toilet paper to me, it's like if I have it, rad, but if I don't, I'm not gonna panic.
And you got all those comic books that probably aren't selling right now. You can wipe your ass.
I was just thinking the other day that I should post my comic books up for sale as could be used as toilet paper items.
It might be. Have you had that, like, because I do the book thing, but you guys are comics, like, has it just flat out tanked for you sales wise since all this hit?
Mm-hmm.
I was blaming it on like all these writers and publishers. They all of a sudden they were giving all their their work away for free. Help you out during the pandemic, free works, which is nice and generous and all, but it also tanked the sales market for books. And I don't imagine comic book writers would give away their work as freely as publishers or writers would, but still, it's still got to hurt.
Yeah, I don't know about for Kevin, but I have seen absolutely no movement. Dick and butthole comic books aren't really essential things to buy when people are panicking,
I only sell my comic books through crowdfunding, so I actually had my card crowdfunder about to start when all this went down, and I canceled it. So I'm not selling any. I mean, my books are all for sale on Amazon. Those are doing okay. I've been selling some Kindle books, but I think we might have a comment. We might have a comment here, folks. Nope.
Are your do you do digital? Do you do your comic books where people can get them in a digital format?
My comic books or my books?
No, your comic books.
No,
you don't.
No, I did the first issue of Dead Shit. I did where they could get a PDF of it, but there was like 3 people that did that tier, so I just kind of abandoned it after that.
I was wondering. I thought about doing it, but I didn't know if it was even worth it.
It just didn't do much for me. I've considered whether I've thought about whether I'm going to put it back.
It seems like everybody in the world wants most things digital, but it seems like people that like comic books, there's like this weird nostalgia, and they want the comic book, like they want the book.
I cannot stand comic books digitally.
Yeah,
like I'm big on Judge Dredd. And anytime I've tried to pick up some Dread digital, I'm like, I cannot do this. It's like looking at a photo and you got to, swipe and
it seems
so
like
difficult.
In the ass.
Because a lot of people, when it comes to like paper things or anything really, even music, it's all changed. But comic books seem to hold true that people want the book.
Yeah. Because you can't appreciate them for what they are digitally. It's right now. I mean, nobody's come up with a good solution for it. I don't know if there is a good one.
And the people,
even if I have a big comics, or something,
the people that love comics. Like they want that book in their hand,
Well, comics are also collectible to an extent. You got a lot of people like the speculator buyers going around. You can't flip a digital comic.
Right.
You can't resell a digital comic. That's one of the things holding it back.
And it's never going to be worth anything more than what it's worth at the moment you get it. You know what I mean? Like it's never going to gain worth throughout time. Like
no.
What do you say, Skinny? Do you buy digital comics?
Oh, fuck no.
Oh, fuck no.
No, I'm one of those retards. I like to have the paper in my hand, just the same with books. And I still buy vinyl records, too. So
yeah.
That's really hitting again, too. I know a bunch of musicians that I'm friends with that are all wanting to put out their next demos on vinyl. It's like, seems like it's making a resurge.
I love it, but at the same time, I hate it because all these hipsters decided they were going to raid all the thrift stores and everything. And I go to my old spots and I'm like, there's nothing here but old Christian albums now.
Yeah.
It's funny. I get the vinyl because the sound quality really is superior even to like CD quality stuff. But what I don't understand is the resurgence of cassette tapes. Like those sound like garbage after you play them a bunch, and people are buying the vintage cassette like stuff that was done from the 80s and 90s, and they're buying this and they're buying these new cassette players to play them on. I'm like, why? The thing's gonna eat up your tape. Your tape is so old.
I was just picturing like you're holding the cassette and like all the guts are coming out of it, and you're just like, ah! Like
I don't know why people are getting back at it. That one makes no sense to me. At least I can understand vinyl, like the quality of it's an analog form, but I do not understand the cassette form at all.
Yeah, it has no worth to me.
There's no audio superiority to it. It just gets worse and worse the more you play those.
The one thing I do miss about CDs, though, is the book that would come inside of the CD, that would have like all the lyrics or weird art or pictures of the band. that's something that you completely lose with digital music when you know.
Oh, you lose that. Yeah, you lose that entirely. That's like it's going to be a forgotten art form because it's just a crazy thing.
You can get it with to a smaller extent with vinyl. Vinyl, you can they come with
records before that had
booklets.
little books in them, kind of that would come with like a thing that would come out and you could flip through it. But CDs always had big little things in them. I remember opening up like White Zombie CDs and some of the art inside of there.
Yeah. Oh hell yeah! Hell yeah!
Yeah.
Well, like even
that was the heyday.
ICP had their little comic books inside some of their CDs as well.
Yeah, the Pendulum series that they did, that was fucking awesome.
Who was that?
ICP.
Oh yeah, I knew they did that. Yeah, that's completely lost with the way music is today. But there's a lot of cool parts about how music is today too, as far as like the ability for independent artists to get big, because I think there's been a bunch of people that have gotten huge and they haven't had to do anything other than just make music and post it on YouTube
or something.
Yeah, wherever they post it. And that you used to have to pretty much sell your soul to some asshole that would take most of your money and then wind up owning you. So.
That's the great thing about the digital medium. Like, fuck the record companies. Right up the ass.
That's what it does to them, yeah.
And for the fans, I mean, honestly, these new school kids that are making their records available on SoundCloud, they fucking probably put out 40 or 50 songs a year. I mean, they work their fucking asses off and give their fans so much music.
Yeah, like our buddy Doug Garrett, he puts out a lot of good tunes, man. Yeah. I want him to do a full-fledged album.
He doesn't have one?
Not yet. I mean, he's got a bunch of like singles that he throws out every now and again, but he hasn't done like a full actual album.
He definitely
last one he did was with this band called Before the Crows, but then the lead singer, I guess he got all doped up and ended up homeless, so that band's shot. I got one of their T-shirts though.
I played in punk rock bands for years, and it's hard to keep a band together. It's like trying to have. I always say like people that are polygamous, it's like they want more than one wife. Like, why on earth would they want more than one wife? And that's like what a band is. You have however many assholes that you're trying to make music with, and then you're all trying to keep each other happy. And this guy wants to do this, and this dude wants to do this, and this guy can't make it on this day, and it's hard. You have to give up a lot to have a really a band that's successful, pretty much.
Yeah, I gave up on the whole band thing because every time I get like a group of folks together, they just end up like getting drunk and passing out on the fucking amplifiers. You mentioned work and they scramble.
Yeah, that's how it is. It's just
they're like, oh, we're just here to play guitar and smoke weed and get drunk, and
they want to live like they're already rock stars, is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, guys, there's work involved in this.
The guys I know that do the best are guys that are like able to play they can play all the instruments and make music on their own. They don't need a drummer or guitar player. They can do it all and then just record it track by track.
Making movies was the same way. When I first started making movies, everybody just wanted to get together and as an excuse to smoke weed and get drunk and stuff. And I actually, after a couple of sessions of that on my first feature film, I actually banned alcohol and marijuana from my sets.
I'll do that one over
like a fucking church lady. I was like, look, I don't give a fuck what you do when you're not shooting movies, but you guys are getting so fucked up you can't even remember your dumb lines in the movie. And so yeah, I ended up relaxing that rule after quite a while. But for probably three feature films in a row, I wouldn't let anybody do drugs or drink on my set. Because they just couldn't keep their shit together. I was like, you guys can do whatever you want if you can prove to me you can keep your shit together. And finally, like the main people I used over and over again, they finally showed me that they could get all twisted up on blunts beforehand and still do their stuff, to my liking. So eventually, I was like, all right, smoke all the weed you want.
I'll allow it.
So how did they reveal this to you? Did they just like pop out of the closet and like we were high the whole time?
I mean, so we would end up having those conversations after filming, They'd be like, "You didn't even know. We went out to the car and got high. You didn't even know. So why is it a big deal? You didn't even know we were high." And I was like, "Okay, if you can do that next time, I don't care. You can go ahead and do it." But I still never let anybody drink on set because I mean, drunks can't act. Period.
No.
We'll end up vomiting in the middle of filming. You're like, that was actually good. We'll keep that.
And acting, I say so loosely. It's acting with quotation marks because my movie. Nobody's acting. Nobody's a good actor.
What's a good actor anyway? I guess.
I don't know. Somebody that can convincingly emote what the scene calls for. My people just yell at the camera and show their genitalia.
Or fake genitalia that gets ripped off and eaten by something else.
Yeah. Lots of dicks. If you can show your dick, you're an actor for me. Have you guys seen Mr. Frank Skinny? Have you guys seen Tiger King yet? Either of you guys watch Tiger King?
Yeah, fuck it. I knocked that shit out last weekend when it first came out, and I've just been preaching to the choir since, man. I love that you're exotic right now too.
Yeah, I noticed that a bit ago too, and I started. I didn't see it at first.
I posed the question earlier.
It was too great.
What's that?
Go ahead.
Oh, I posed the question to Brad earlier. If Jeff still owns that cat zoo, and those cats eat expired Walmart meat, and there's no expired Walmart meat right now, what the fuck are they eating?
I just love the fact that those cats are eating expired bologna and shit like that.
No, I love the fact that he opened a pizza restaurant.
Yeah,
and he was putting the expired Walmart meat on the pizzas.
Yeah, that
was great.
That is a boss move right there.
Or his employees would be picking through the meat before they divvied it out to the cats. They'd get their own pick of the litter before that. Yeah, it's very like jailhouse kind of stuff. It's funny here in Jersey. We have it's happened a bunch of years, probably back in the 90s. We have a Six Flags here. It's Six Flags Great Adventure. And nobody knew this at the time, but all of a sudden one day there was a report that there was a tiger walking around Jackson, New Jersey, and like everybody was like, obviously it's because Six Flags has a drive-through. Well, it was a drive-through safari. They have a safari, so everybody's like, Jack, it's got to be one of Six Flags tigers. And it turned out it wasn't. There was one of these crazy fucking cat ladies like right next door to Great Adventure, and one of her fucking tigers got loose.
What a great place!
It was big,
a bunch of tigers, right?
Yeah, and it was exactly like this Joe Exotic type stuff and Carol Baskin type stuff. She just had, I don't know, it might have been a half a dozen or so tigers. She was whatever it was called, Tiger Rescue, blah blah blah. And she was, as the story came out and they dug in because everybody was shocked that there was a tiger lady in New Jersey, and she was like, she would get from like the county and even the state, like all the roadkill, like the deer and stuff that were hit on the side of the road. They'd scoop it up and bring it to the tiger lady. And like, that's what she was feeding her tigers. And I'm sure she was probably getting old Walmart meat or whatnot. It's like, yeah, like that's, you see all that roadkill and stuff. It's going to these, there's probably a tiger lady or guy in every state in this country. And they're the ones that are cleaning up.
If you gather a bunch of tigers together, it must do something mentally to you because.
Well, you know about the crazy cat lady like parasite, right? You've heard of that? Like what makes a crazy cat lady? There's like a parasite that like clings to cats and then gets into the brains of people who tend to be crazy cat ladies, and it makes them want to hoard cats or something crazy to that effect. Like it's a very real fucking thing, and I can only imagine like seeing Tiger King, it's like a really just more amped up version of the crazy cat person that you want to have.
Extreme animal hoarding, I guess, is what it is. It's like the most. It's like, well, this guy's got 1,000 hamsters. It's like, fuck that. I got 300 tigers.
What they really did not delve into, like they hinted at it, like this big draw to doing it is the cub petting thing, like they're breeding tiger cubs because that's a big draw to get people to pay to pet like tiger cubs and tiger cubs.
One cub could generate $100,000 or something like that.
Yeah. So like this has got to be way more prevalent than people probably really realize. That like, you know, like when they said like when Joe Exotic went broke, he started breeding the tigers like crazy. He was trying to sell them for
Yeah.
these tiger
He
things.
was
And then it's like,
he was
happens-
holding them and saying like, here's 10 grand. He was holding those little baby cats and like looking at them like a stack of money in his hand.
Yeah.
He was like,
Yeah.
here's 10 grand. Here's 10 grand. You know, like
yeah, that's like,
Get the
I mean,
camera on that
they
big
really-
cat. She's gonna have another one. Get it on her ass.
yeah, and they were like, she's panning really heavy, and the guy was like, yeah, I know, but she's making cubs. It was like he doesn't even care about the mom. He's like, who cares? As soon as this is over, I'm shooting her, so it doesn't matter. Just get the babies.
Fuck.
There's-
and I think there was an intimation that like after they get too big for that cub petting stuff, that like they might have been just, you know, euthanizing the tigers.
I
That, you know, when
totally
they just
got
got
that feeling that like once they couldn't do the petting anymore, then they were either probably going to breed them a few times or just kill them. You know?
Yeah, Joe was convicted
I
of
think
that.
there was like a brief mention of that. Yeah.
Yeah, Joe was convicted of that, and then that other dude, Doc, he was convicted of that too.
Yeah.
Killing him.
Yeah.
Well, the one woman it seems like killed her husband also.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
You wouldn't put perfume on his boots. You'd put what did she say? Sardine oil.
Yeah, she knew real quick what you'd put on.
Exactly.
Yeah. I just
They
like
do.
the
Yeah.
woman who rides her bicycle around like she's some sort of weird. I don't know that
Oh
woman.
man.
They
Yeah.
said there was like a subsequent news article I've read, you know, because it's like the thing that's keeping us alive through the apocalypse or whatever, and basically saying like what they didn't touch on in the documentary series was that she had, between the husband that's on camera with her now and that husband that was mysteriously went missing, there was another husband who also filed for a restraining order and had a lot of details, you know, about that particular husband that went missing. And, you know, that was what this news article said, because I don't know if you heard too, like Joe Exotic now is like suing somebody for like $94 million.
What?
And yeah, there's like more to the story, and there might be like a Tiger King 2 and the whole works here. The story is crazy.
Love it.
But yeah, there's so that's what when I put that on, I didn't even know it was a series. I thought it was just like, here's a documentary.
Yeah, just a little.
And I got to the end of it, and when the Netflix thing is like next episode, I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding! There's more to this.
Yeah, and then there's
Like I got
10 of them.
Yeah, I was
yeah,
telling.
yeah, between
I was
it
telling
was like a
Brad earlier-
Saturday, Sunday. Like,
Yeah, well, here's my weekend. Just completely.
I was telling Brad earlier. I thought it was only 3 or 4
Yeah.
episodes. I finished the 4th episode and I looked. I was like, "Oh my god, there's 7! I love it! I love it!"
more, and every time, like you think there's no more to cover. Oh my god, it just gets worse and worse.
You haven't even begun to dive in yet. Yeah. We got online to watch something completely different, and then we saw that mullet, and we were like, "Well, this is what we're doing," you know?
Yeah, and
do you guys
it's awesome watching America Discover. Like I said, I watched it the weekend. Like
watching America
Yeah.
Discovery.
yeah, you're just watching, like, you know, you saw a cool thing on Netflix and everything, but by like Tuesday you started seeing the memes pop up of like, this is how we're, if it wasn't for Joe Exotic, we wouldn't survive the apocalypse type stuff. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh my god, this is becoming like a cultural fucking quarantine
Yeah.
event. Like this is what we're going to remember about the
It couldn't have been released at a better time. Everybody's stuck in their house with nothing to do, you know?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's been amazing. As I'm happy I saw it like right away, because it's been so much fun watching like America Discover.
Yeah, watching
The
the
Tiger-
everybody get through each episode and be like, and then that happened. Oh my god!
And for the people that haven't seen it, it has to be really fucking confusing about what is going on with all these memes, you know? Like, what?
Yeah. Oh, it's driven so much more.
Yeah,
When I watched it, it was, you know, Netflix does that top 10 now. So when I watched it, it was actually number 10 on the top 10 thing. And I mean, this weekend is number 1, like, because everybody's talking about it. Like, and it's fun. And there's people out there who've watched it and like, I don't get it. I don't, and you know, they're like, I just watched episode 1 and I don't get it. I'm like, just keep watching. Just keep watching. You can if you feel that way after episode 3, then maybe you can punch out. Maybe it's not for you. But my God, I don't know. I was hooked right from episode 1.
Yeah, me too. But I love rednecks. I fucking adore rednecks and redneck culture and all that shit. All that fucking. Oh, I love it. But anyway, Skinny, for somebody like you that hasn't seen it, we honestly haven't spoiled anything.
No, there's no way to.
7 hours of shit, and every
I've
episode.
already read the wiki, so I'm good, man.
Yeah, every episode has a holy shit moment that's just like, are you kidding me?
Almost every episode is just an entire holy shit moment that you're just like the whole time.
Well, I've been too busy. I've been watching this one documentary series on Netflix about the Unabomber. So,
well, that's a good one.
Hunter or Manhunt or something.
Yeah, something like that. But
is that the one where they go into his MK Ultra shit?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good one.
Documentary too. Yeah.
I'm kind of thankful people are
Did you
like obsessed with Tiger King right now instead of this. Because holy shit! Do you think what would happen if everybody was focused on the Unabomber and the MK Ultra shit and everything? Oh fuck!
That's probably why they gave us this. Because they're like, you can either watch.
While you were watching Tiger bullshit, they stole all of our liberties. Alex Jones next week will be wearing a tiger costume.
Have any of you seen the Don't Fuck with Cats documentary on Netflix?
Another great one on there.
That
was purely disgusting, but it's such a good documentary.
That's really what made me pull the trigger on Tiger King, because the cat sort of thing. I'm like, because you look at it, you're like, I don't know, fucking tigers, but you're like, I don't know if it's as good as Don't Fuck with Cats, because Don't Fuck with Cats is pretty damn good.
Yeah, it started with Making a Murderer, and when Making a Murderer went like viral, they were like, everyone in the world that has something to say, contact us. You got any footage of anything, contact us.
Didn't you guys see that one about the McDonald's monopoly scandal? It's called McMillions. It's about for years and years that they'd say like it's $1 million winner, but the I think it was the Bonanno crime family. I think that's how you say it. It's like one of the original mob families. A member of the Bonanno crime family somehow or the other had infiltrated the security team that McDonald's used to do that and was controlling who got those. He was selling the $1 million cards for $50,000 a piece.
Holy shit!
Yeah, but the thing is, nobody. It's like it's been done and over with for a long time, but nobody heard about it because like the day all that shit broke the day before 9/11.
Oh my god!
It was like it was kind of like what we were saying. If all these people weren't inside, they wouldn't be seeing the Tiger King. And with this one, everybody missed it because 9/11 happened and nobody gave a fuck about a McDonald's.
Couldn't have cared less.
Yeah, but that's a cool documentary to watch too, and it gets pretty intense. But
yeah, I'll make sure to watch that. I remember like hearing inklings of like that. They caught them rigging it and everything, and it makes total sense that it got wiped away because of 9/11. Yeah, I'll have to check it.
It's a cool documentary, but it goes way deep. Like you wouldn't think that it would go, as deep as it does. But it's kind of like we were saying. It's got a lot of layers where you're just like, oh my god, But
that's what I live for with my streaming media. Like I seek out documentaries probably more than any other thing that I look for.
We've already seen all the fucking movies.
Yeah, like things like the King of Kong. Do you remember the King of Kong? The King of Kong, like this video game. It was like one of the greatest fucking things ever. And it was just about people fucking competing for Donkey Kong. And it was like just one of the most engaging fucking documentaries ever.
Did you guys ever see, what was it called? Something Evil. And it was about the
Evil Genius.
Evil Genius. Did you guys ever watch that? Yeah. It's about the pizza delivery guy that had the bomb strapped to him.
Oh, yeah.
That documentary there was so much police and like FBI mistakes in that they literally were in a guy's house and didn't notice that he had blueprints of a neck bomb on his desk. Like, how do you overlook that? Like you're like that documentary was like full of the police just didn't do a good job at all.
Yeah. Where you get that thing?
It's one that you don't know because a couple of the people that would know the truth are dead. Like,
Right.
yeah, that was a crazy one too. Evil genius. How
about, did you watch the one on the fire festival? That was some crazy shit.
No, I saw that though. I wanted to check it out.
I heard about
Yeah.
it when it was all going on because I like Blink-182 and they pulled out of it real fast. And they usually, Blink-182 usually doesn't pull out of stuff that's big like that. So it was kind of like, I wonder what's going on, why they did that. And then it turns out that it's because it was like the worst part of that documentary is that guy saying that he was going to blow somebody for, what was it, for clean water or something. He was going to.
Yeah. That was just like, the fun of that was they fucked over rich people essentially, right? Because they were people with a lot of money. Like, it was an exclusive concert weekend getaway, and they fucked them over in a Ponzi scheme type of thing. So you have all these rich ass young kid motherfuckers, and they showed up and they had like barely a pub tent and nowhere to shit and stuff. Like they were like reduced to just
turned into like a hurricane hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fun. Fucking people fucked over in the end.
And they're probably a bunch of rich kids that have never had dirt even on their body, and now they're like, oh god.
Yeah. But to see how those guys like took that like really right up to the edge of it all happening to get people there and just kind of like,
if you're gonna go to a festival and you know that Ja Rule is in charge of some of it, you kind of get what you're asking for. If you're like, oh, Ja Rule's doing it, yeah.
I feel like that's what Vince McMahon's doing with WrestleMania right now. Are you guys following that story? Does anybody here watch wrestling? Nobody watches wrestling.
Not now. Not nowadays.
Well, WrestleMania draws between 60 and 80,000 people. It's an annual event, happens the same weekend every year, first weekend of April. And all this shit started going down, and Vince McMahon was like, we're still doing it. And he is down to the point where he had to tape his WrestleMania with no crowd, with less than 10 people in his own performance center. So they've got a workout gym where all the wrestlers can work out. And then they've got a mock gym, like a mock studio set up with a wrestling ring in it. It's very small, closed circuit, so they can work on their promos, so they can practice wrestling moves, so they can work on their entrances. They're fucking shooting WrestleMania, which takes place in giant arenas, with, like I said, 60 to 80,000 people. They're shooting WrestleMania in a fucking performance center with two dudes in a ring and no crowd. And Tampa, Florida, where they were set to tape this shit, announced ahead of time that they were doing a quarantine starting on this past Thursday night, where nobody could go. They were basically closing the performance center. You can't go anywhere. Nothing non-essential can be open. So Vince McMahon tapes all day and all night Wednesday and all day Thursday to get all of his WrestleMania matches pre-taped. So this is a live event that happens in front of 80,000 people, is now a taped event with two people in a ring, no crowd. He had to tape it over a week in advance. It airs next weekend. So all the spoilers for the endings of all the matches are going to be out on the internet before we get there. And Roman Reigns, who was set to win the big championship off of Bill Goldberg, who they brought Bill Goldberg back from the 90s WCW.
Yeah.
Bill Goldberg's got their championship belt right now. Roman Reigns was going to beat him for it. Roman Reigns has dealt with 2 bouts of leukemia and considers himself immunocompromised. At the last minute, he goes, you know what, Vince, there ain't any amount of money you can pay me worth my life. I'm out. And so right before they taped the WrestleMania match between him and Bill Goldberg, he dipped out. So they had to completely change the main event and tape a whole different wrestling match for the main event. I mean, does this starting to sound like the Fire Festival bullshit? Like what they're going to expect you to pay $50 for on paper is nothing.
You could CGI a crowd.
They're gonna CGI the fucking crowd into it.
Did they announce like if he's refunding tickets and all ticket sales and that stuff?
I
For
guess
people for the audience.
I mean, they canceled the big, like the main, whatever.
Why would he do? He did. He must have really thought like this would like not become, where it has where it's become like to commit himself.
3-day thing, and then we'll be good. Like,
He's one of those guys that's like the reason he's rich is because he doesn't take no for an answer, and sometimes in a situation like this, that totally works against you. That totally works against you. And Dana White from UFC is doing the same thing. Dana White is still putting on fucking shows with no crowd, with two dudes punching each other in the face in front of no crowd. And he's been banned from every state. 0 athletic commissions are sanctioning MMA fights. So there's a rumor that he's going to take this big Khabib versus Tony Ferguson fight, their big pay-per-view for April. There's rumors that he's going to take it to Russia. And they're going to fight in fucking Russia, no sanction, essentially they'll tell the fighters that they have to follow the rules, quote unquote rules, and they'll have the referee enforce the quote unquote rules, but it will not be sanctioned. There's no sanctioning body that will fine them if they do something outside of the typical rule set that are sanctioned through the athletic commissions, what they call the unified rules of MMA. Just crazy. Dana White is just another one of those guys that won't take no for an answer.
Wouldn't that make any like belts or anything? The like if someone lost a belt, wouldn't it not stand that way because of the
commissions don't control the belts, the organization does.
Right.
The UFC owns those belts. So
I just read an article the other day that says Putin says Russia doesn't have any coronavirus.
Yeah, notice that it's the most tyrannical totalitarian regimes that magically cure pandemics before everyone else.
He was like, I told it couldn't come here.
Yeah. Skinny, what are you working on, brother?
Oh, I'm just doing some pages from a book and whatnot. I'm going to subject y'all to this real quick.
Hang on, let's see what's going on here. Hold on.
Look how terrible that is.
Hang on. Let me get you here. All right, here we go.
Yep.
Well, okay, so explain the process here.
Oh, I draw shitty pictures and then I send them to my artist.
So
these
are the layouts.
Yeah, this is just me just basically doing a rough draft layout for my book. So he gets what I'm talking about because he's not really great at English.
So everybody does this a little bit differently. Explain your relationship with your artist. If you have, how many panels are on that page?
Let's see, I got, there's 7 panels here.
So when he goes to draw this particular page, would you be upset with him if there were more or less than 7 panels? Do you want him to draw it exactly like that, but good? Or
yes and no. Like sometimes there's some cases where I'm like, it's got to be like this. Other times I encourage him to do what he wants because I'm paying him. He's the artist. He knows what works. He knows what doesn't. And usually I take his word on things. I give him a lot of freedom because, like I said, he's the artist. So.
Yeah, the reason I ask is because everybody works a little bit differently, and I'm always fascinated with the sort of how the sausage is made when it comes to comic books because I'm pretty new to this whole process. I've only been doing comics for a couple of years, and I find that myself, I'm the writer and the artist. And as I go through each process, I'm doing the pencil pages right now. When I get to the inks, I might not be happy with the way I've laid this page out. And so I might end up taking this page this is a big 11 by 17 page that I'm working on here. This might not even be the final layout for for the comic. So if I was just the writer and I handed the thumbnail to the artist and he drew all these pencils out and took hours like I'm about to take, and then I was like, nah, I don't like it. Let's change it up. Some artists freak out about this. Some artists say, you write the words, I draw the pictures, and they are really like steadfast about that. Like, I am the artist. What I say goes on in the pictures. And some writers want more control than that. So how much would you say, how much control do you have? Would you say 50-50, 60-40, 70-30?
It's probably about 60-40. Like, I am paying him to do a job. So
Right.
it works for me. But no, like I said, I do let him take a lot of creative freedom too, because like there's some instances, maybe I can pull one up on here. I don't know if I have them on my computer or not. But there's one thing where like I drew a trash can and it's supposed to be in kind of this like dream nightmare sequence. And out of nowhere, he sends me the finished page, but on the trash can, instead of it being like a bag lined around it, he's got teeth. And I was like, holy shit, that's fucking cool, man. And I didn't ask him to do that. He didn't even warn me about it. He's just like, I know Skinny's going to like this.
See, that's the cool dynamic between like writer and artist that I don't know that. I don't know how that works because I've never paid an artist to do this stuff. I just do it all myself.
Well, the mantra that I always try to keep is just to have fun. Like,
yeah,
this is a hobby. I'm not going to make $1 million on this shit.
Right.
I'm here to have fun and to make a comic book. So I'm easygoing when it comes to working with artists. Like I let them take a lot of liberties, as long as it's not something like detrimental to the story. I really don't care.
Yeah.
Like I said, as long as they're having fun, they're going to be putting out better work too. But if I get the piss out of them by nitpicking every damn thing, I'm going to get shoddy work because every time they go to work, got to do fucking shit for Skinny. He's not going to fucking like it.
Yep.
North Korea, asshole, man. Yeah, you want him to have fun when he's doing it.
I want him to enjoy it. So, like I said, I mean, I do crack the whip every once in a while, but only when it's necessary.
How far are you guys in?
Shit. He's working on page 11 of 24 right now. So we're almost at the halfway point.
11 of 24.
I've had some complaints about the artwork from other people, and they're like, "Oh, I don't like this artwork." I was like, "Okay, well, just don't buy the book."
Right.
Are you happy with it?
And I'm like, "Yeah, dude. Like, I like this artwork. This is my book. I'm paying for it. If you don't like it, just don't buy it."
Yeah, War Campaign endlessly trashes my artwork, and I'm not good. That's the thing. I'm definitely not a good comic book artist, but I do this as a passion. To continue to tell these. I feel like this is the only way I can continue to tell the stories of Strangeville the way I want to. And people, yeah, they trash my art. I don't care.
I don't think you can sit there and say what's good or bad because everybody, so your favorite might be trash to me and vice versa. Like,
yeah. Yes, sir. Mr. Frank.
Yo.
How's Catcoin doing?
Not well in the apocalypse. I mean, it really legit was doing well until I think March 9th was the cutoff day where all of a sudden it just tanked. And I think I mentioned earlier, like the glut of
free shit.
Of writers, publishers giving away free books. Like it all coincides with that. I still got some of them Kindle unlimited page reads going on, but even that's far less than where it normally is. So
I gotta
be
honest with you, Frank. I gotta tell you something.
Yeah,
I'm putting out Beetle Brain for free starting tomorrow.
Yeah, you son of a bitch! You just
I'm part of the problem.
You know what though? No, I don't know. I'm not sure. I gotta look. I'm like Jeremy. I got 1 million books, but I might have that. I might have that in the kitty already, but I'm not sure. So if I don't have it, I'm just gonna grab it for free. Like I bitch about the free shit, but I've grabbed up why would I, right? Everyone's giving it away for free. I've grabbed up a bunch of those free books.
I usually give you my books before I come on your show.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. And am
I allowed to say that? Is that inside?
I take book like there's because I do the podcast, like there's always like, hey, can I give you my everybody's just trying to give their books to me, and I'm always like, you can give it to me, it doesn't mean I'm gonna read it. It's definitely not gonna read it for the podcast, and I'll take it if you really want, but just like understand, like I'm not gonna get to this in a week, a month. It might not be a year or two before I may never pick it up if you give me a book, but
Yeah, I don't think I've given you a ton of books. I don't think I've ever asked you if you've read a single one of them, have I?
No, and I've read plenty of your books, so I'm just a fan of your writing in general. I haven't read everything. I have not read Beetle Brain, and you know what?
Man, that's a good book.
I mean, I talked about Beetle. Yeah, I read. I had Texas. What is it? Texas Chainsaw or Mantis?
Yeah, Texas Chainsaw.
Mantis. Yeah, I had that forever. And like when you were really on your tirade against Bizarro, like, and I've said it before, I said it again, like it was off-putting. It was off-putting, not because I necessarily disagreed with a lot of it, because I did agree with a lot of your points and everything, but it was just like I was disgusted with everybody's behavior in and around that time. So it's just the idea to pick that, right? Yeah, like it was just kind of ugly, right? So like I just did not want to pick the book up, and especially like it would have tainted the read and stuff. So it probably took me 2+ years to pick that book up. But when I finally picked it up, I mean, I loved it. I think it was one of your best, efforts. And unfortunately, you also released that around that time, so it probably suffered, from the campaign you were on. But I mean, I think it's probably one of your best efforts from what I've read anyway.
I was pretty clear around that. I was pretty vocal that I didn't give a fuck what happened to my career. I had to, I was going to fucking send a torpedo straight up Bizarro's ass. They were either going to change or they were going to die.
Yeah. No, for sure. Actually, I just did a podcast that I don't think is aired yet. And they asked me like, who was my favorite guest or whatever. And I said, I don't know if he's my favorite guest, but I always enjoy having him on. And I said you, like Kevin Strange, like he's you're always entertaining to talk to. You're a podcaster's dream because I can just ask a simple one question or one sentence question, and you will go on for a half hour plus answering that question. So you make my life easy as a podcaster, and also because you're not now just a writer, like you've been the movie maker, and now you're into comics and you're doing the card game thing. Like you're forever changing what you are. So you're just a continually entertaining personality that I have on all the time. Plus the hate listens that you give me are incomparable to anything else I get on the show, and it's great because for as many people as hate you, I've always said this, like, I first, when you were getting into it with everybody in Bizarro, and I still had you on, like I was a bit concerned, like I'm gonna get ostracized too, but
sure,
like quite the opposite happened. Like I got the hate listens, right? But the feedback I got was a lot of people like privately saying, like, hey, that was really cool of you to have him on and everything, and to talk like that, and not focus on the bad stuff. When you talk, we don't really get into that stuff.
Right.
We're just kind of talking about what you do at the moment, and we don't focus on that shit. And people have responded really in the positive, on the sly, because nobody would admit they enjoyed listening to Kevin Strange. But yeah, all those things together, like I'm like, yeah, like you were just standout guy.
No, I appreciate that. I really do, and I have a lot of fun going on your show, and I've always I have a tremendous amount of respect for you to weather that storm and take that chance to still continue to talk to me, because when we do talk, anybody who hate, like you say hate listens, but there's nothing to hate.
No, there isn't.
When we talk, there's nothing to hate. We're just talking about art, talking about writing, talking about the passion of the art form, and there's that, and that's kind of what I like to do on your show. It's like, ooh, this guy, I wonder what he's gonna say. I wonder if he's gonna be a racist. Is he gonna be a homophobe on the show? And it's like, none of that could be further from the truth. Like most of the crap that people like the shit that people talk online about me, when you actually hang out and talk to me, it's a completely different version of Kevin Strange than what you're led to believe is out there. So I use that, use your platform as an opportunity to really sell myself as who I actually am behind that internet, gossip mill that sprung up around me over time. And what a fantastic heel turn that was. I was the darling of Bizarro around 2012 to 2014. I was the fucking man.
I always said, like, in and around that time, like, Eraserhead they were the major leagues, and if you wanted to get to the majors, you got to go through the minors, and the minors were, Rooster Republic Press, maybe Bizarro Pulp Press, and fucking Strange House Books. They were the minor leagues to get yourself up there. You were the stepping stone. You grabbed everybody's attention, and
out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, you ran a great press, and I really love what you did. And I know you don't like talking about the Don Noble, but what you two guys had there initially was really magical. And Don stepped away and all that stuff, but you kept it going. And I remember that there was that point, like right before you sold off Strange House, where you were saying, like, yeah, I got the feeling that you were going to do it, because you kept saying, like, I could step away from this, and the brand has established itself. Like, it will always have that voice, and step away. And you kind of did get into that space. You're almost like the trauma of books, of storytelling.
That was that was always the goal. And when I did step away, there was several like really key reasons for it. But number one was I just wanted to focus on doing my shit. Mm-hmm. I wanted to just write my books. But the other part of it was, like, anybody who was only being in that intense social community of Bizarro, there were so many people being fake nice to me because they thought that would lead to them being published by Strange House. I couldn't fucking stand how fake people were towards me. And so I spent a lot of nights up writing late and thinking, like, what matters to me? And what matters to me is writing these books, telling these stories. And what I hate the most is the fake bullshit people send my way, and the gossip, people trying to come behind the scenes and talk shit on other publishers or other writers. And like, people have this, like, some people, and it's not everybody, but some writers have this attitude where if they talk shit on another writer, the publisher will then take their side and publish them instead. So it's like writers will, like, they'll have feuds, like, behind the scenes. Most of this stuff never comes out publicly, but they'll have these, like, bitchy behind the scenes feuds where it's like, if I throw him under the bus, that'll put me in a better position, and I'll get that. And I am not that socially inclined, Mr. Frank. I don't want to play those. I don't like playing those social games. Like, that's top level social shit.
It's like having rap beef with another rapper.
Yeah. So I had this opportunity to sell the press, focus only on on writing my books, and only the people who were truly my friends were going to stick around, because now there's nothing I could do for them. I had zero clout in the industry when I just became Kevin Strange, the writer guy. And see how quickly they turned on me when I did that? How long did it take? How long did it take me selling Strange House till I was the Hitler of fiction?
Yeah, it wasn't long, and like, and I remember that, like, sort of time, and I can only imagine, like, that type of thing, like, the people kissing your ass, and knowing the type of dude you are, like, it's not gonna fly for you. And I mean, to call out a name, like, I remember, like, was it Jeff O'Brien kind of had that reaction, like,
oh, he'll deny it till the end of time. He'll pretend. He always pretend. He rewrote history in our relationship. Yeah. He used to tag me on Facebook all the time and be like, the only publisher I would ever sign with is Strange House Books. And he even
I remember him acting like that. He had two. He had a tirade against you, and he had a tirade against Jordan Kroll, and for the same exact reason, because you both called him out for basically trying to, like, kiss ass and buy his way into things, and then he turned that around as best he could, like to bury that side of the story and just make it like you guys were douchebags. And I remember it was right around the same time, and you both had the same experience with him. And for the longest time, like, I never had a problem with him. I was pretty good with him. But eventually even he caught up to me too, and felt like I needed to be shunned too, because
you were talking about that on Jeremy's show, where you were talking about, like, the time bomb of, like, if you don't remove these individuals from your friends list, I'm gonna block you. I am so glad I wasn't around once it got that intense.
Yeah, that wasn't even crazy. That was his wife who did that ultimatum, And but me and him have actually been good for years. And his wife did that ultimatum, and because now his wife and everything, like, he just kind of went in lockstep. And eventually it was for him, it was when I befriended Dan Simmons and the Greta Von Thunberg. I don't know what the fuck her name is, the client.
Yeah.
Everybody like blew up one morning at Dan Simmons because he had something awful to say about Greta, and I wanted to find out what it was, so I friended him on Facebook.
Yeah.
And then when I did that rubbed, I guess that was the last straw for Jeff O'Brien, and he unfriended me unceremoniously. So
I remember when
I still really don't have a problem with the guy, but obviously he has a problem with me.
I remember when you told me about that. The first thing I did was go follow Dan Simmons. I still follow him.
Yeah,
he's got a lot of cool.
Yeah,
I like that guy.
I didn't unfriend him. I really do hate that when people. I mean, it's not like he's the only one that's done this. Happened a couple times, not a lot, but it has happened. And I'm like, why are you trying to call my Facebook for, like, don't worry,
Police
can't categorize. Yeah, like you're taking the friend's word a little too fucking seriously, thinking that's like the company I keep or whatever. So when people come at me, it's like trying to tell you how to live your life, and to think that you would just like, oh my god, they think the worst of me, let me unfriend them. Like, fuck you. Like, I have my reasons for friending or not friending people in the world, and it's not because like I want to be a racist Greta Von Thun anti-climate person. I just wanted to see what the fuck everybody hated him for, really.
Yeah. Does any of this sound familiar, Skinny?
Yeah, it sounds like the typical gay shit that I deal with on a daily basis.
So Skinny,
don't say, oh my god, don't say gay.
Oh god, they're coming for me.
He's dealt with this shit on the comic book side, Mr. Frank. Believe it or not, the comic book side is exactly the same.
Oh,
It exists. There's no hiding. Yeah, it's not exclusive to writing or anything. It's everywhere.
People are abound everywhere, man.
It's sad to me because I kind of gravitated towards indie comics as kind of an escape from all that drama from the fiction world, and I just stepped right in it. I was like, oh, here we are again.
Yeah, you stepped in the biggest herd you could possibly find.
Yeah. Stepped right in the comic.
Yeah, you couldn't have honestly thought like it wouldn't exist there, right? Like, you got to know it exists everywhere.
Like stepping out of a horse turd into a cow turd, just right one into the.
One of the things I thought about while watching Tiger King was like, this is everywhere. Joe and Carol Baskin would sit and do videos about each other every night, and they had super chats and GoFundMe's, and pitted their fans against each other. Like, if you're a Joe Exotic fan, you're gonna give us money because we got to get that Carol. It's the same shit. It's the same exact shit, except those people. Several of those people ended up in jail. Skinny, what do you think the likelihood that Comicscape figures are going to end up in jail before it's all over with?
It's looking pretty good. I don't know if you saw recently, but the Ethan Van Sciver, he did those stupid ass ribbit coins.
Yeah.
Well, he advertised them for one as 99.9% silver. They are not at all. I don't even think there's a lick of silver in them, which that in itself is a federal crime.
Yeah.
On top of that, he also said like all the pictures were going to be painted.
Yeah.
Coins with special paint and shit that would adhere to the silver and yada yada yada. Well, I don't know if you saw that Thomas Royal video.
I did.
But he put the mayonnaise on the coin, and the little piece of paper just immediately came off. Like, there was no wait time or anything. It was just people paid $25 for a 50-cent piece with a little piece of paper stuck to it.
Leave it to mayonnaise to show the truth.
I guess there's some chemical in mayonnaise that pops, like because that's people sell coins a lot where they paint onto them, and it's like a permanent process where it like bonds with the metal. The paint bonds with the metal, and then it's like permanently dyed. And then the way you test that is to put mayonnaise on it. Yeah. And so this was just a pressed piece of paper that pressed and conformed to the coin, and applying mayonnaise to it popped it off.
Yeah, there wasn't any adhesive either. See, the way he sold the coins is they were already in that plastic casing, so he figured he could get away with it because he's
They
like,
never
"Oh,
open-
I want to break these things open."
So tell me this, Skinny, because I haven't seen what has he reacted in any way to that video? What is Ethan's excuse for creating a federal, what more or less could be construed as a federal crime?
As far as I know, they're claiming that video was fake. That he just printed out like a little piece of paper or what the fuck ever.
Okay.
And it's just stupid. It's just a bunch of nonsense, honestly.
And that's actually being investigated, right? By the FCC.
Yeah, a couple of people have reported him to not the FCC, but there's another,
Federal
another
Securities
branch of the government that they report things to. The Federal Trade Commission, the FTC.
There you go.
So I know a few people have sent reports that way. I don't know if anything will come of it. I kind of hope so, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure they got bigger fish to fry.
So are we going to see the gay frog documentary?
I hope not.
Or it's over with? Well, I'm saying like the way Tiger King follows Joe Exotic till he goes to jail.
Oh yeah,
That's not a spoiler. You know he's in jail in the first episode.
Next year.
Do what?
The Frog Caesar will be up next year on Netflix.
Yeah. But it's a pretty fucking convoluted, crazy story too.
It
That's
is.
one thing, Mr. Frank. I'm so glad that it never came to that in Bizarro, where nobody actually like went to jail for anything. It never got to they were trying to get each other arrested or anything like that. There was one case. Who was that douchebag publisher who put out an anthology, got into a fight with his partner? The partner kept the anthology published, so that guy ended up going to Amazon and filing a copyright complaint and having it all taken down. Do you remember any of this?
I don't. Yeah, not ringing a bell.
I can't remember who they were, but they were like low tier back in the day when it was like 2014, 2015, when it was like the gold rush. Everybody and their fucking brother a piece of that.
That wasn't an Alex S. Johnson venture, was it?
I think it was.
It smells of his MO, but
it was a gross out. It was a gross out collection. You remember the barf something or the
like chunks? Was it chunks?
Yes.
Was there? I didn't realize there was threats of litigation, but he was so small potatoes, like they were never gonna. It would never have come to anything legal. They couldn't afford to do that.
Chunks got published, and then someone involved with Chunks had it taken down, like did a copyright claim against it on Amazon and got it taken down.
That was probably because that dude would go through publishers and like just rake them through the coals and then destroy them and then move on to somebody else like who didn't know about them.
He tried that with me. He tried that shit with us. He was all over us. Like,
he went through so many people. Like that's why I said it reeked of him. And I wouldn't. What you said, puking, like the Chunks thing came to mind. Yeah, he's gone through so many people that, but he's never in a position to monetarily be able to sue anybody,
right,
for anything. And that was I think that was J. Ellington Ashton. I want to say press like
now you're
kind of right, but they were I don't know. I was always weary of that publisher, shall we say, to begin with. So, to me, it's like two bottom feeders.
Yeah, there was that gold rush during that time.
Oh, yeah.
Everywhere.
Do you remember when he was going to do a charity anthology, or it was going to be 3 anthologies because he had so many people, and it was him and his crazy cat lady girlfriend at the time who was a clown woman, and special snowflakes or some shit, and he had like so many people on board. It was gonna be 3 thing, and the whole thing just went to shit because he was a con artist. It was a fire festival for books.
Yeah, that dude was nuts, and he's like a college professor. And one thing, and I used to say this.
So it claims.
I used to say this when I was a publisher, that the hardest authors to work with as a publisher are college professors that want to be writers.
Yeah.
They don't take criticism. They don't take rejection well. It's almost like they feel like they are slumming it just to submit work to you. Like you should be bowing at their feet because they are a professor of English, sir. Do you remember when wasn't it Alex Johnson that went after Carlton Mellick, telling him that he didn't invent Bizarro, and went on this like crazy English history, like fiction history?
Yep.
Like, Bizarro actually dates back to
Yep, that was him. Yeah, he was gonna every time he came up with a thing, he was gonna do an anthology for it. Like, and he had a whole anthology dreamt up for that crusade.
The shit ain't easy, Mr. Frank. It ain't fucking easy to put that stuff together. Have you ever dabbled in that? Have you ever considered putting an anthology together?
Never in a million years. I've seen that happen, and I understand what that takes, and I have zero interest. Like I do the Bizzong thing, right? And I would love to do, like, in my head, I would love to do the Bizzong anthology called the Bazook, but I would never do it because
that's awesome.
It's the Bazook, yeah. But I would never do it because I'd have to read through a slush pile for it and pick it out, and then deal with everybody who's pissed off that they weren't chosen, and then try to monetize it, and I'd probably go fund me and all. Like I would never go down that path. Even though I have an idea, I would never go down that path.
Yeah, you'd have to deal with the personal fallout when they would all attack your character online.
Yeah.
Try to make you out to be the worst, possible representation of Mr. Frank that exists. That's tough to go through, man. I went through some really deep depression when I was doing all that. Outwardly, I kept a pretty good facade going where I was untouchable, like unflappable. Like it doesn't matter what you say about me. Nothing hurts me. I'll fucking kill you on a podcast. Not physically, not physical like threats, but I'll
kill you.
I'll get on a podcast and just bury you if you say anything about me. But in my personal life, I'm not ashamed to admit I went through some deep depression over that stuff because they ruined my character. There was a character assassination. My entire reputation was destroyed, and I had built that online personality since 2006 when I started putting out hack movie stuff on YouTube and selling DVDs and going to conventions, and they fucking destroyed it. And it was like, this is years. This is like 10 years of work just down the fucking toilet. And it fucked with me. It fucked with me a lot. Like I didn't want to be me anymore. I would look at myself in the mirror and be like, I wish I could just be another person and start over. Like, how the fuck do I just wipe it clean and start over as a new human being?
I mean, I gotta ask you. We're not doing the podcast, but I gotta ask you. Like, you sold off Strange House books with the best of intentions. Like, you want to be your own man, your own Kevin Strange, and I don't want to be attached to Strange House books. But I mean, do you feel in the end that bitching? Do you regret doing that, or like, yeah, it kind of sucked, but like, whatever? Like, what's your stance in the hindsight of it all?
No, I am very glad that I'm not a publisher. Like I said, once I stepped away from that role, it was so clear how many people really didn't like me in the first place. Like they were only being nice to me because I had this, what they perceived to be this power where I could publish them and give them, and that, like, that means anything. Like those people take that so, like, they act like it's such a badge of honor to be published in the small press. Like, dude, anybody can get published in the small press. It's so simple to do. So my intention was to give it to Seamus and Erica, and for Erica to be the editor in chief, kind of like the Rose O'Keefe of Strange House. And so there would be two matriarchs, like you said. There would be like the minor leagues would be Erica, and the major leagues would be Rose. And because Erica had like a really nasty, like disgusting sense of humor, and was like really into the same kind of shit that I was, as far as like B horror movies and stuff. Like we always shared cool, like low budget B horror movie stuff with each other, and we had the same perverted sense of humor. And I was like, I told her, I was like, I want you to carry this on, and I want you to publish books in this vein. I want you to publish B movie pervert shit, just like I did for years. And she said, okay. And within 3 months, they gave it to Don Noble. Yeah. And he's published, a total of 4 books in 6 years through that imprint?
Yeah, I mean they've changed it. I'm sure it was the what is it? It's a female only publishing house now, which
But didn't they've only put one book out as that iteration.
I don't keep track, and I
I don't
mean
either. That's as far as I know. They've done one book and it won a Stoker.
yeah, they got the Stoker. I mean to their credit for whatever that is, but it stymied me. Like they made Strange House a female only publishing house.
That's just
and it seemed like they did it really just to try to like.
If we did that as men, could we get away with that? You think? Could we do
they did it just to smack Kevin in the face? Obvious. I mean that seemed obvious to me. Like but I don't. But it's weird because that was all just. And I'm speaking for you, but I'm saying like. By the time they did that, it was so under the bridge type of shit, and you would moved on to the comic stuff like that. But like that, I don't think it really would have ever bothered you what they did with it. At that point,
it was just petty. I mean, it just showed to me. It just like showed the world how petty that dude really truly is. At the end of the day, that his whole shit is to just get me, like, dude. And then yet he'll say the opposite. He'll say that I'm obsessed with him somehow, and that's
on that video that we did months back, and it just exploded because you said his name.
Yeah, I just said he fucked me. I just said I was just talking like in general. I was like, I had just watched a YouTube video about a guy that said don't have business partners. If you get into business, do it by yourself, because if you have a business partner, he's gonna fuck you. You'll end up doing all the work. He'll take the credit for it, and at the end of the day, you won't have your vision won't be what you want it to be. And I just had a simple conversation with Brad where I was like, I got pretty fucked too, where this dude, I did all the work. He ended up with he ended up with the name. He ended up with the name of the publishing house. And that dude went on for fucking half a day in the comments, like talking about my brother, talking about my sister, talking about my sex life, just crazy shit. And all I did was say the guy I was in business with, he didn't do shit because he didn't do shit, and he ended up with the I got fucked out of my business venture the one time that I had a business partner, but it wasn't even like heavy shit. Like, fuck, dude. All I did was tell the truth. The dude didn't do shit. Then he ended up with the name, and he went on and on.
I always hated that part of the whole, because when I fell in love with Strange House and what you were doing, you and Don were business partners, and the first time I ever interviewed you, I interviewed the both of you together, like, and I enjoyed. Don had Beer Run of the Dead. I loved the shit out of that book and everything, and when it all went sour with you, like it sucked, because to this day, dude, I like you, I like Don, like, and it sucks because it's very obvious that like there's a lot of personal shit between the two of you guys that's beyond the business, stuff. So I always just separate, like, and I'll tell you, like, I still like, I like Don, like, I don't have a problem with Don like you do, but your shit is personal with him, and I don't want to inject my feelings into that stuff because that's not my place, because you guys, it's beyond business with you two. So like I always separate you two on that level. Like I've never been deep friends with you, either of you guys. So I just know what I know from like your business dealings with each other. Right. And it is ugly when you and I get your point, I get his points and everything. Like I said, like you gave it up and it fell into his hands. Okay, whatever. But then on the same time, like him making it a female only publishing thing is just odd, because it's just way off brand for the whole thing. So none of it makes sense, and it only smacks of like this is just personal beef between the two of you.
I don't even blame him for it. He's just a douchebag, and that's his personality. If you were friends with him in real life, you'd know how petty the dude is at the end of the day. And I had to learn that the hard way. But the person that I'm most mad at in that situation is Erica. She should have never, like, if she didn't want the fucking thing, she should have told me no. I would have found somebody else. I would have found somebody else.
But that was also a result of her being in a relationship with Seamus at the time, and when that didn't work out, then the Strange House went elsewhere and not in her control.
Though they could have consulted me about that before they did that sale, and they could have given it back to me. That's what I told them. I was like, you guys fucked me because you could have given it right back to me, and you didn't. You chose not to. You chose to give it to the dude you knew would just be like this petty weirdo about it. and that's all he's ever really been with that. He just uses it as a trophy.
And was that as a result because at the time you were the pariah of Bizarro? Like that's why they went in that direction?
Oh, I have no idea. I have no idea. I was so pissed at him. I had the one conversation with him where I was like, "Fuck you guys! You could have came to me. You could have told me you were breaking up and selling off the presses and all that, and you could have given me my shit right back, and I could have found a better home for it. Instead, you gave it to fucking Don." I said he's never going to do anything with it. It's just personal. It's just petty. It's just a trophy on his wall. And lo and behold, all these years later, that's all it's ever fucking been. Yeah, they got a stove.
It was disappointing with Erica because she was so like really invested in the Bizarro stuff, and then when that relationship went sour, she just bailed out of like Bizarro altogether. That was sort of disappointing because you saw her as like you said, like that, next, she could have been the next Rose, and she just for whatever her reason
and talked about all of it.
Yeah,
we were at BizarroCon together in person, and I knew her before any of the fiction. She and her boyfriend were fans of hack movies and had boyfriends, however many boyfriends ago. They hung out at my screenings at film festivals and conventions, and we'd hang out and talk, and I'd sign DVDs for them. So when she made her way into Bizarro, I was like, "Oh fuck, I know you." And so it was like that's a like a personal relationship that I had for a decade up to that point. And for her to do that, I was just like, why? Why do these people have to be so petty? Why do they have to do this stupid shit? Because I mean, I don't know. I don't know why they did that. To this day, I don't know why they chose to give that shit to him instead of giving it back to me or telling me that, at least giving me the option, telling me, hey, we're blowing this up. This relationship's done. We're done publishing. Do you want this back? Because I would have said, yeah.
I mean, my guess is because you were the pariah at the time and Image or whatnot, and that would just be my guess as an outside third party stepped away from thing. That would be my guess. But I think too, in the end, like I personally think you're better off on the road you've taken,
I don't for a second. Like I wouldn't have taken it back and kept it. I would have taken it back and sold it to somebody else that would have taken care of it.
Yeah.
And helped it thrive. I mean, goddamn, we built that thing into a monster.
Yeah. But the whole genre's kind of went to shit, so whether it would have survived or not, regardless.
Yeah,
that's up to me, I guess.
That's very true. Very.
My guess is now is that like because of the state of things in Bizarro is Eraserhead will probably become mostly just Carlton Mellick's publishing platform.
Bro, he barely puts any books out anymore.
Yeah, I'm sure that Deadite will go away, and John Skip will do what he does just as part of it. He might be like the most active Bizarro publisher is Fungasm.
John Skip will publish pretty young girls.
There's that rumor that is boiled up. I'm not gonna tackle that.
We're not on your show. I'm just talking shit.
I know you can talk all your shit, but I mean that I just heard about that recently, so it was
me too. That's why I brought that up. That's why I said that. I was asked, "Do you know anything about this John Skip shit?" I said, "I don't give a fuck. Who gives a shit?"
Right. Yeah. Among that accusation, I worry about Danger Slater's little butthole.
Yeah, what's he up to these days?
He does what he's been doing, As far as I know, he's put out what was the last thing? The Impossible James was the last thing he did. So I'm sure he's probably about due for something new.
Yeah, he hasn't talked to me since all that went down. That's
another
one of those bummers where I was like, man, I slept on your fucking couch, dude.
Yeah,
we hung out.
No, yeah. Some of that stuff, like talking to Jeremy again, since he understands I'm not his saint or whatever, and hearing those stories about like how involved he was and the people that turned on him it's kind of disappointing. Like you and Danger had that book together and we're doing stuff and
man, again, we share such a similar sense of humor and had so much fun together when we would do those Chicago shows, when we would like what were they called, the Bizarro Hour, where we would do those performance, those like live performance things. Fuck, that dude was so fun to hang out with. And won't even talk. I maybe 2 years ago now, about 2 years ago, I sent him a text and was like, "Hey, dude, can we just like, you don't even have to publicly acknowledge me. Can we just be friends behind the scene, like privately? Can we just be friends?" Didn't even respond back. I was like, "You're gonna ghost me, even in a text between two dudes, between two friends. You're gonna ghost me in a text." And I shouldn't bring that up. Because it is personal, and I shouldn't bring it up, but it makes me mad, man. It makes me sad, disappointed, really, because most of those friendships,
you did have that.
they weren't real friendships. The thing about it, they were real to me. It was real to me, damn
it. I mean,
these people. That's the other. I have no idea who anyone that we're talking about is.
Yeah,
you got real quiet.
Yeah, me and Kevin have known each other since we were pretty young, but I don't even think either of us really know how we know each other, just because we grew up in the same butthole area, so we know each other. But
yeah, the earliest memory I have of Brad, I was doing a backyard fight club type thing where we would all get together at night and walk down to a baseball diamond, and in the field behind in the outfield of the baseball diamond, you couldn't see it from the road, so no cars or cops or anything could see us back there, and we would do jujitsu. This was 1999, 1998, 1999. We were going crazy for UFC and Black Belt Magazine and the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys, the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Academy in Brazil. They would sell video tape. You could buy it for $99. You could buy like a 4 or 5 tape set where they would teach you jiu-jitsu moves on tape. And we would watch that shit, and then we would go out in this field and practice these moves on each other. And Brad showed up out of nowhere. I don't know who he came with. I don't know why he was there, but Brad showed up and he's like, "My uncle teaches this shit." I was like, "Really? That's fucking cool." He's like, "I've met all these guys. I've met Hoist Gracie." I was like, "Are you serious?" And we've been cool ever since. That was like 1999.
And you just broke the first rule at Hillbilly Park Fight Club.
Yeah, you don't talk about it.
No,
and you met through jiu-jitsu, and now you're both doing comic books. Is that crazy or what?
Weird, man.
Yeah, it is. I was also apparently, which I don't remember this, but I don't remember most of my youth, but I was supposed to be in Dead Shit, but apparently got in a car and then went the other way. I don't drive who was with me, but apparently I probably got sidetracked by like Jack in the Box or something and never made it to the movie.
Just like with the weird jujitsu thing, I was rounding everybody up. There was a bunch of people, including Don Noble, who was going to be extras as zombies in this backyard horror comedy movie I made called Dead Shit. And as we were I think we were at a convenience store. It's called Hit and Run. They wouldn't know what that means, but we were at a convenience store, like rounding everybody up, getting waters and just getting everything prepared for the shoot. And Brad pulls up in a car and he's like, "Hey, what's up, dude?" And I was like, "Hey, man, you want to be a zombie in a movie?" He's like, "Fuck yeah." I was like, "Follow us, man. The caravan's heading out. We're going up to Alton," is the town we were shooting in. We're headed up to Alton and we're going to stage up. And I got about 15 folks. We're going to paint them up as zombies. You can be a zombie. He was like, "All right, cool." I get to the house. You know, I'm overwhelmed. I'm the director. I'm the star. I'm like trying to fucking pay attention, make sure everything's happening the way it's supposed to. I've barely made any movies at this point. It was my second movie. So I was like super overwhelmed. And about halfway through the shoot, I was like, "Where the fuck's Brad?" They're like, "Who?" I was like, Brad, big motherfucker, tattoos on his head. They're like, "There's no dude here like that." I was like, Did he not follow us? They're like, "I don't know what you're talking about." I was like, "What the fuck?" And I didn't have his number at the time. So Brad rolled in, agreed to do the shoot, and then ghosted me.
I said it was probably Jack in the Box. It's probably driving, and then there was a Jack in the Box, and then I was like, "Well, that's where I'm at." But I roughly remember it, but I don't remember who I was with or what I was doing or where I went or anything. So.
Yeah, it's funny.
I wish I did it though.
I wish I would have done it. Yeah, I wish you would have done it too, motherfucker. But now we're doing, so there was the jiu-jitsu, then there was the movies almost, and now comic books. Because he hit me up out of the blue, last year?
Yeah.
On Instagram. He was like, "Bro, I'm a local dude, and I draw gnarly comics too, and it'd be cool if we hung out." And I was like, yeah, man. And I looked at his shit. I was like, "Yeah, that's pretty fucking cool." He's like, "Actually, you know me." I was like, "I do?" And then he told me we won. I was like, yeah, you're that motherfucker. That's fucking awesome.
Well, I was looking like when I don't have any I don't have any friends at all anyway of any kind. But I wanted to have like an art friend, and I was like, there's just not going to be anybody in this cornfield that I live in that wants to draw butthole comics. And then I remembered Hack Movies, and I was like, I wonder what that dude's doing now. So I started trying to find him, and at that point, he didn't even have a Facebook. And but I typed in Kevin Strange into Instagram, and it came up, and he was drawing comic books, and I was like, that's weird as hell. That like I just thought of his name and then Googled him, and he was drawing comic books, and I was drawing constantly. I has actually made like 4 little short little puppet shows that is what turned into my comic book. So then we just started talking, and I went down to his office one day, and we hung out, and then ate chicken wings, and then it was like
God damn, I want to, man, as soon as everything opens back up, Max is this bar right by where my office was. And they serve food during the day. I guess they serve it at night too, but they have this like, they have a kitchen in the bar, and they make great fucking hot wings, but they make amazing pork steak. Frank, you're out there on the East Coast. Do you even have pork steak out there?
Pork steak does not separate. We have pork roll. I don't know if that's the same thing.
Pork steak is so fucking good.
What is
it? Midwest.
I'm interested in that. What is that? Pork roll?
Pork roll. That's a Jersey original. It's hard to describe. It's something like
maneuver or something. That kind of give her the pork roll.
It's round. It's like a bologna, but it's not bologna at all, and it's like sausage, and you have to just slice it up, and you slice it up, you fry it up, you put it on, and we do pork roll, egg and cheese. Just put it on our hard roll with egg and cheese.
It's like almost like a cousin to Spam, maybe, or something.
It's a cousin to Spam, but not like Spam. But yeah, it kind of you're getting there. You're getting there, thinking of it that way.
Skinny,
but not pork steak. I don't know.
Skinny, do you know what pork steak is?
No.
Yeah, it's almost like it's a St. Louis thing. It's almost like it's like right directly right here.
I never knew that was like something that was.
Yeah, because we've grown up with it. We've always had pork steak our whole lives. When we were little kids, it's what helped make us fat. So they cut pig ass into like steak looking pieces, like it looks like regular like beef steak, but then they like smother it and slow cook it in barbecue sauce. Yeah. And the whole goddamn thing ends up so these little thin, long strips of pork, and then they are just smothered for hours in barbecue sauce. And fuck, does it taste good?
Oh, it's delicious.
And you eat it just like a steak with a fucking knife and a fork.
Yeah,
that's not pork roll. I've never heard of that before.
Shit, you're making me hungry.
Also, me and Kevin have both had massive blood pressure problems already in our lives.
Yeah. I'm trying to show you what I've been working on because I know you guys couldn't even fucking see what I was doing. These are Cockhammer's cultists.
Okay.
So they're wearing robes, and they've got horns coming out of their heads, and they're carrying torches. And then they're carrying Cockhammer's dead body.
Mm.
And they're marching towards this crypt right there. You guys see that?
Yeah, that's rad looking.
That's what
that was cool because I saw you start out. I guess it was Cockhammer's body, and you just developed that picture from there. It's pretty cool to watch you kind of do it in the background.
Yeah, I didn't have any all I had see how these are just circles here and these panels here. These are going to end up being heads in this panel by the time it's over with. But yeah, I just had a bunch of circles on there, and I turned it into cultists. So that's what I did tonight while we were talking some shit.
I was mesmerized by it, honestly.
Were you?
I was staring at it the entire time we've been talking. So
really, I didn't know you were watching. What else is there to say? We're going to wrap it up. We're at like almost 2 hours. But Skinny, when's this book coming out?
Oh, I'm shooting to launch in about July, and since it's a horror book, I want to fulfill in October. That's the goal.
And are you gonna have the art completely done before you launch?
Oh hell yeah! I'm not a dirty grifter. Who do you think I am, Critias? You think I'm gonna run off with like $40,000 and then claim a bunch of bullshit? No.
Dude, I thought he launched a GoFundMe for a fucked up car, and it turns out that's a different dude. Who the fuck is the guy that launched the GoFundMe to buy a $4,000 car?
Shit, I don't even know, man. Like there's so much bullshit happening, I can't keep up with it. Like it's insane. I don't know who did the GoFundMe for the car though.
I don't either.
I know people who do know, so I'll let you know when I find out.
I know people who know. All right, so you're gonna launch this thing. What's the comic called?
Oh, it's Otis Stein. It's based on a short prose story that I had published about a year ago. Basically, a redneck farmer blows himself up in the still, and his wife sews them back together. And yeah, cultists are involved as well.
Excellent. There's nothing better than redneck cultists, man. That's why Edward Lee is my favorite novelist, because he's like obsessed with rednecks, Satanism, and Lovecraft. So you just get a ton of like cults and crazy incest rednecks and cannibals and cabins in the woods and just fuck. It's awesome.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of fucked up shit in this one, but it's my love letter to, old school monsters like the Universal and the old B movies like White Zombie and whatnot. So
hell yeah, can't wait. Me and Brad will have you on the show to pimp that shit when you go live. I mean, you're talking about going live in July, but what if the world is completely in economic disaster by July? What do you?
I'm still gonna do it. Fuck it. I ain't got nothing better to do. If it fails, I'll do it again.
I had a really tough time trying to decide if I was going to launch the card game right now during all this. And at the end of the day, I decided that I could not look people in the face and say, "Can I have your money?" when things are so fucked up right now.
Oh yeah. Well, there's a lot of people who don't feel that way.
I know. I can't believe Richard Meyer launched a fucking book at the beginning of this pandemic where the states are going on lockdown. All the fucking Walmarts are being drained of food. We don't know if there's going to be electricity tomorrow. We don't know what's happening. And that asshole launches a fucking pandemic book.
Yeah, and he's the one who summoned Ralph into existence with that shit. With his surprise campaign. After all them fucking government checks people are going to be getting.
Yeah, I'm totally. If we're in good shape when those government checks start coming in, I'll launch that card game because I want that government check money. And Frank, we're gonna have to do a Bizzong show when that finally goes down.
We are, yeah. I've been dying to talk to you about this card game because I'm all into Magic: The Gathering. So
are you?
We need to talk about Kevin's. Oh fuck yeah, dude!
Hang on a second.
Here's my Golgari Swarm box. MTG baby. He went to go get his cards or some shit.
He's coming back to flex on you. Yep.
Here's the fucking let me pop this up again.
Weed.
Here is the game, brother. It's game box.
See, that looks like one of them old school starter booster packs you used to get from like 3rd edition Magic the Gathering. Yeah, that's sexy as shit.
That's Strangeville Smoke.
Yeah, it has
be all over
Kevin. Isn't there some expansion packs that are going to be?
Yeah, the expansion. Yeah, there's two. It's going to come with two. The main game is 108 cards, and then and you just play. So unlike Magic the Gathering where you build your own deck and customize it, Strangeville Smokeweed you just play. Both players play out of the same deck, and then there's a pair of expansions. There's 18 card expansions that come with it, and you get in the expansions you get weird cards like the Ganja Golem, whose power and toughness is equal to the number of weed cards you have in play.
Yeah,
but yeah, I did all the art. I drew all the art for this shit, and I developed the game and all that. It was a lot of fun. It actually didn't take nearly as long as I thought it was going to take. I thought I might be working on this thing for a year, but it came together really fast.
I couldn't believe how fast it came together.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive that you got that together as quick as you did from when you first said you were going to do it.
Psychic crabs. Yeah, I don't fuck around, Mr. Frank. I don't fuck
I
around.
know you don't. I know you don't.
I had a period there where I was announcing projects and not following through with them, but those days are over, sir.
Yeah, we didn't get a Kevin Strange book club, but I got a fucking Kevin Strange smoke weed game, card game. That's impressive. That's more impressive than a book club.
I've been itching to put that fucking clown novel out, brother.
Yeah. That's got to see the light of day yet, too, right?
I got so many irons in the fire right now.
Yeah. Don't spread yourself too thin.
It needs a second pass really bad. I need to go through and do a rewrite on it. It's real rough, and then I need it edited. And my editor that I've used for every single novel I've ever written has basically told me, like, I don't think I have another one in me. He's told me, like, I just don't. I've edited so many books, I just don't know if I have another one in me. So I might have to find a new editor if I was to publish that. Editors are hard to come with.
They are, especially ones that don't hate you.
Or aren't going to turn on me, the second the fucking thing's done.
It's like everybody hates Chris. It's everybody hates Kevin.
Oh, dude, people in the writing community are so petty. They're so petty, and so they backstab each other so easily.
I don't know anybody, so I don't know who's nice and who's not.
What I would do is I'd end up just talking him into doing it. I'd pay him a bunch of money. He did a lot of that. He did a lot of that editing work just because we're friends. But
I'm like, what's an editor? Yeah. That's how I feel. Like, what's that?
You got a built-in editor. Your wife edits your shit.
Yeah, she's my secretary wife, editor wife. Yeah,
she's really handy. I've had her help me with.
Yeah, she's helped you before too.
The night I was trying to format the card game, and I called in a panic. I don't know how to do this.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite phone calls that we've ever had together. Honestly,
I ended up emailing his wife some of the card JPEGs and having her upload them to the card printer site. I was like, "Tell me if it works for you." She's like, "It works for me just fine." I was like, "Then it's something on my end."
Why won't it work for me? Yeah, it was a great evening.
That's the fun behind the scenes stuff nobody sees.
Yeah. We've spent a lot of evenings screaming at each other on the phone about why in the hell won't anything happen the right way, or what am I doing, or
what am I doing wrong? Why won't this work?
Can you unsend dick pics? Things like that.
Fellas, I think we're gonna wrap this up. I'm not Jeremy. I don't do 5-hour shows. No. Frank, it was great seeing you. I appreciate seeing your face. Man.
It's been cool. I'm glad you invited me into your little shindig here.
Yeah, skinny.
Yeah,
it's always fun.
Always.
We'll do an
invite, sir.
Yeah, we'll do a show together pretty soon too. And really
nice to meet both of you dudes.
Yeah, we'll catch up on the comic skate shenanigans because there's a lot that goes on these days. And I tend to stay away from it right now. I'm working on this book and the way the world's falling apart. I don't have time. I can only stress out about so many things at the same time. Comic skate isn't something I can stress out about right now.
Oh no, I've done fuck that shit. I'll talk shit about them and poke fun, but honestly, I'm not into it as much as I used to be. I'm just.
You got that book to worry about. We got to launch that motherfucker. We got to make that book some fucking money.
And I've also been doing a lot of work with Doug Garrett too, and helping him get together Legends of Lone Wolf, which we finally got it going to print.
Yeah, it's about to come out, isn't it?
Yeah. Like you guys were talking about, like screaming at each other about why isn't this working? Doug and I just did that the other day because like we had this ash can, and he's like, they're not showing up on the printer right. What the hell? And I'm like, well, did you try it this way? Here, let me format the pages. And as it turns out, like the template we were using to size all the pages was fucking wrong. So, yeah, go figure.
Was it directly from the printer you were using, their template?
No, it was another template, but it still should have matched up. So I'm really confused. So I just said, fuck it. I made my own template, and we went with that, and they look great. So.
Doesn't that sound familiar, Brad? And I was like, I'm doing the template exactly how it shows up. What am I doing wrong? Have your woman try to resize it and see.
Yeah, mostly it was me and you like panicking like this, and then Amanda fixing things. That's what it was. Which is mostly what my whole life is, really. It's just me like and then her taking care of everything, and I cry and fall asleep.
Mr. Frank, how do they find your books, Mr. Frank?
Oh, Amazon. I'm a slave to the Amazon, so you could just go there and search the Frank out there, and all my shit will be there.
And it's Kindle ebook and paperbacks, everything available. Both
ebook and paperback. Yeah. You can unlimited. You can, if you're on unlimited, you can get that. You can pay paperbacks or whatever you want, just as long as you buy it on Amazon.
Fucking Amazon, man. I was just saying the other day, the whole world has turned into trying to figure out how to not give all of your money to Amazon. That's what it is.
Well, they're already testing grocery stores.
Yeah.
I was thinking the other day, I've been a customer of Amazon since 1996. I must have been.
I've been an Amazon customer since all they sold was fucking books.
That's it's crazy that they said what it's turned into, because it used to be books.
Yeah. So what I would do around 96, 97, 98, I would go to Borders to browse cool books. And then instead of paying $16.95, I would go home and buy it used on Amazon.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly.
And now you can do that with anything on the planet. You can go buy it on Amazon.
And I still have that same exact account. One time, not that long ago, I went back. I was like, I want to see my entire purchase history. It's thousands of things, man.
Like a spare month you wanted to do nothing with.
Hundreds of pages of bullshit I bought off of there. It's crazy. Anyway.
Oh, it's my fucking pencil sharpener I've been looking for 2 days. Cool.
Now that Brad's found his pencil sharpener, we're gonna get out of here. So thanks, fellas, for hanging. I'm glad I got that drawn. I was talking the whole time, because if I would have sat here and had to concentrate on it, I probably would have scared myself out of actually trying it, because that's one of the hardest fucking things I've ever drawn, to be honest with you guys. So thanks for hanging out with me while I did that.
That comes from a guy that draws nothing but dicks.
There's no dicks in it. There's
hard.
It's a perspective shot. It's a 3/4 over the head shot. Like, everything about that is hard as fuck. But
all
anyway.
Clifton's dicks have elbows. All of them.
My dicks, have pairs of turn, not just a turn, but pairs of turns. Have elbows and knees.
Like a go-kart course.
Anyway, long live Joe Exotic and the Tiger King. Fuck Carol Baskin. And we'll see you guys all next time. Peace.
Peace.
Later.
Later.